I am Eddie Izzard. I am on your show, so it's good to be here talking to you again.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Eddie Izzard, welcome back to the Sarah O'Connell Show. I last spoke to you in February last year on the phone, and you were running in Luxembourg, I believe. How are you today?
I am very tired. I think Luxembourg was further on in the game. So the first 10 hours was just horrible. So I find them rough, and I just try to get through them, but it's very weird on a treadmill because there is nothing to look at, nothing that it gets in your face. So talking to people it makes it much easier. But yeah, I find these really tricky. These are harder than the ones I've done before.
Well, I wanted to do a marathon in solidarity with you, but sadly my lounge isn't quite long enough. So I've only managed to do about 17 foot so far. So I'm going to have to make up the rest later.
That's all right.
So last time you're running in February, you've picked an even longer month this time. You're doing, is it 31 marathons, 31 days, 31 virtual countries. Can you tell me the reason for this, what you're raising money for, how can we get involved?
Well, it's a time of great separation. COVID is causing separation, and COVID is posing the questions: would you like to be separate all around the world and trying to struggle on your own individual selves and your own group selves, national selves, or should we all try and work together to make this go away worldwide? And I think anyone with any sense is saying we've got to learn from each other. We've got to learn what were the best ways of doing lockdown. Maybe some places we still haven't learned what's the best way of doing things, but it's also politically, should we be going forwards into the 21st century and separating more or making stronger connections? I'm for making stronger connections. That's why I'm running through Europe and in other countries and reaching out to the countries that we're running with on my Swift app, so they can virtually run with me on the trainers. They're from all over the world and calling in and talking to them as well. So that's a great way of connecting. And we need to do this thing, I feel, of can we learn from you? Can you learn from us? That's the way to go forward, essentially.
Not only are you doing that, but after each of your marathon runs, you're then going on stage and doing a live streaming event. I got tickets to the first day on New Year's Day, and you were speaking about your career and how you got into comedy and stuff like that. And there was kind of like some improv sections as well. Can you tell me, if people were to tune into that show on multiple days, would they get a sort of similar show, or do you sort of mix things up as you progress throughout the month?
It is mixed up. I'm trying to do a best of show. So I'm trying to do it's scenes from stand-up that I used to do that were liked, and sort of remix them. But it's a mixture of my biography show and my best of show, and me just talking about whatever's going on in the world of today. So it's intriguing and interesting at its minimum, but it's kind of tough. I almost fell asleep last night in the middle of the show, which was kind of scary. And I'm having to sit down. I'm doing sit-down stand-up half the time, which is curious. But I'm getting it done. And all that money, if people buy tickets, they can buy tickets now at eddieizzard.com, and the money does go to the charities. So
I think it's testament to how comfortable you now are on stage that you can actually fall asleep mid-show, which I think is amazing.
Yes, yeah, hopefully so. That's very nice. Thank you.
Can you tell me, by the way, when you're running on that treadmill, do you go at a set speed the whole time, or do you try and beat your previous day's record?
No, it's too tough. I literally do whatever I can do. I'm trying to do 6-hour marathons, which are in fact very slow. And so I just try and do that and get that done. Right now, I'm below 6 hours, so I was 6 hours 20 yesterday. But I'm not really bothered, just like, no, I've got a show at 7 p.m., so I have to finish in time. And I'm talking to people, I'm talking to another guest in 10 minutes time, so I just have to do things, talk to people, and try and go as fast as I can. And when the body really complains, I just have to slow down a bit. as in now. In fact, I'll just walk for a second.
I saw you very recently on Portrait Artist of the Year when you were doing the complete opposite to this. You were motionless for 4 or 5 hours.
Yes.
And during the show, you have now famously asked to be called by she and her pronouns. Was this a long time coming for you? Was it something that you sort of considered doing sort of more publicly in the past?
Yeah, it's been out a long time. I mean, I've been out for 35 years, so so a lot of people were positive about it. Some people were very negative about it, but it was a bit like, for those people saying, well, it's a bit like they were saying, oh, you're serious about this? Up to 35 years, you really are serious? Yes, 35 years ago, 85 I came out. So I just thought I'd be, I feel like I'm based as a trans woman now, but I am gender fluid. And I said, just if there's a problem, just call me Eddie, but it'd be nice. And I requested, never demand, never insist. And this will get spun into different things. People say, you insist, like, but no, just, if they asked me on the program, I said, oh, if you can, then she and her, it was great. And that feels great. And if people don't, well, and if they have a problem, just call me Eddie. It's shouldn't be a big deal. I'm trying to not make it a big deal because I've been out for so long, you all know. And so that's that. And I issued a statement in the Daily Mail September of 2019. So it's very old news. Very old news.
I guess a lot of people don't read that though.
No, well, you think they would have picked up on it then, but no, a year later, what's going on? Hey,
most people just have that in general though, I think, most of the time.
Sometimes people pick up on things, sometimes they don't. But
the trans community is kind of going through a really hard time at the moment. In addition to homelessness and discrimination, it was another record level of murders against the trans community. I think it was over 350 in the last 12 months. Misrepresentation and fear mongering in the tabloids is getting worse and worse. What would you like the world to know about trans people?
Well, my whole thing since I came out all those years ago, those decades ago, was that I believe anyone LGBT, it's a genetic thing. We didn't choose it. We just knew it from a very young age.
Right.
We are expressing ourselves honestly. We're just trying to express ourselves as ourselves. It's not impinging upon other people. So it has been made into hate crimes. It is a crime to insult people, to attack them. These are hate crimes, and that is against women, against anyone who is any minority. And I have had to go to report people to the police and go to court about it. So it is tough. It is probably easier to come out than ever before, but it's still hard. Once you come out, there's about 10 years where you've got to acclimatize and get through the situation in your own life. And that is tricky. And so, yeah, I haven't got a magic wand, I'm afraid, that can make everything work perfectly. But I have tried to, by example, just create space and say, if anyone wants to slipstream on this and say, okay, that's kind of roughly where I'm going, and do that.
So obviously your last show was Wonderbar, and you've spoken about doing a best of show of all your material, which I imagine would just be all of your shows without any bits edited out because there's no filler. Are you still writing new material? Are you thinking about what your next show after that could possibly be in the distant future as well?
I'm a bit lazy, so I don't sit down and think. If I get an idea, I write it down on my in the notes section of my iPhone. But I'm talking about dung beetles a lot at the moment. So kind of why they exist and what they do. But yeah, I don't write it. If I have ideas, I will jot them down. But
yeah,
I'm looking. I wanted to look for a political seat in the last election, so I'm looking for the by-election comes up or the next election. But I will be being political from now on in for the next decade or so. That's what I'm going to be.
Your style on stage seems very improvisational, but do you sort of have the entire joke set out in your mind in advance, or do you swap bits out on the fly when you're on stage?
No, I do it on the fly on the stage. I might know that I want to talk about a subject and have a rough direction in my head, but then I just try and find a way to to that place. If anyone watched last night's show, they would see me, you can sort of see me doing it in real time. I just kind of try out ideas. What are dung beetles saying to each other? What do they get up in the morning? What have they got to live for? More dung. It just is the oddest thing. So anyway, that's just piqued my interest at the moment. Or it could be bees, or it could be human sacrifice, or whatever, some weirdness that exists on our planet, or the whole of humanity, you know. So you can talk about any subject, so I do. And yeah, that's how I get by.
Fantastic. And so last year it was announced that you've been cast in Langdon based on Dan Brown's Lost Symbol. My understanding is that was due to kind of start filming last year or go into production. Can you give us an update on that?
On the Langdon series, yeah, the pilot has been done. It was done just a few months ago before everything started locking down again. So I play a character in the Langdon series. Robert Langdon was a character played by Tom Hanks in the films. And I'm not playing that character. I'm playing his mentor. His name is Solomon. So they just shot the pilot. That's all they've done at the moment.
And can you give me an idea what you get up to when you're not running halfway across the planet or doing a live show? What have you been doing in lockdown to keep entertained? Are there any shows that you're loving? Obviously, apart from the Sarah O'Connell show, are there any books that you're enjoying at the minute? What are you getting up to?
Just sleep. I did a lot of sleeping. And if you had to watch, you have to just find things to do. But I could find a lot of things out there. And then when we were allowed to perform outdoors in the summer, I did a lot of outdoor performances for charity. So that was my summer, and that was nice because it sort of helped everyone get back doing things in the events business. We've been really hard pushed.
Really has, yeah. And so last time we spoke, we were talking a bit about the movie 6 Minutes to Midnight with Judi Dench. Have you any idea when that might be released to rent or buy at home or on DVD?
It hasn't been released yet, so
right.
It's delayed a year now. So it's coming out in the spring of this year. It should be soon. So yeah, spring of this year.
You said, yeah, so you're still hoping for a theatrical release?
Everything is possible. You just can't tell with this COVID flying around. But a number of things have been launched onto streaming platforms, and they have worked rather well. Say Queen's Gambit, that sort of came out and grabbed everyone's imagination. I don't think anyone saw that. Well, that was serious, so that wasn't going to be seen. But I don't know if it matters so much, but we would love a cinema theatrical release. But COVID will do what COVID, or hopefully we will do what we can to push back on COVID, and then we'll see. Then we'll see.
And can you tell me a fun fact about you? Something people may not know. It can be a hobby, a party trick, something like that.
Party trick. Don't have a party trick. Fun fact. Fun fact. Do I have a fun fact? I think they're all out there, really. If anyone doesn't know them. Because that's the one weird thing of stand-up is you can talk about anything and everything. So you better do that because you need stuff to talk about. I don't think there's anything I've said or that I haven't said that is part of my life. Oh, I did like model railways. And so our family, the Izzard family, donated one to the Bexhill Museum. And the Bexhill Museum model the railway club. They turned it into a fantastic model railway. And there's another one now, the Bexhill 1940 winter wartime model railway. So as a fan of railways, and also of history, particularly the winter wartime model railway. If people go to Bexhill, put online search Bexhill Museum, and they'll find on the bar at the top model railways, and they can see it in action and videos. And it's beautiful. The guys have been working on it for some years now, and they keep developing it. And it has bombed out houses. It has everything set up 1940 and lots of snow. It's a winter wartime, and it was a very snowy winter, 1940. And it was inspired by something my dad said to me. So we built it for Dad. And he got home from being evacuated, and he found his grandmother had died. And he was very close to his grandmother. So he never gave her a present that Christmas. So got a little statue of Dad and grandmother, being Dad giving a present to grandmother. So that will be immortalized forever and stay there.
Oh, fantastic. So everyone, once obviously everything reopens, go check out the Bexhill Museum, and
even right away they can go online and look at it, because then they can see come back. So Bexhill Museum online, and then look at the model railway. They can see it in action, flying away from pre-COVID times. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for returning to my show today.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sarah. Good to talk to you.
You too, and best of luck with the rest of your marathons. And thank you to everybody watching at home. Be sure to share, subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, leave lots of lovely comments. Head over to eddyizzard.com to find out how you can make humanity great again too.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Take care.